a picture of yourself and think, is that what I look like? Or you just see all the flaws and you just don't like that picture at all. Or you watch a video where you're speaking and you're looking at yourself and think, I don't like how I look. I don't like how I sound. Why did this go out in the world? Or worse, you recorded it and said, nope, can't publish that. No way. If you can say yes to either of those, you are not alone and you're in the right place because this podcast changes that. Welcome to Confident on Camera with me, Christine Brunelli, your host, where we talk all things style, presence, and polish for women who lead. And today I'm going to talk about something not so sexy. And it's about how it's really not the camera. That isn't the problem. Let's be honest. It's not your face, your weight, or your lighting. It's the mental noise behind the scenes. And today I'm calling it out because that is the real reason that you don't want to be visible. And yes, we can add all the little things that make you feel better about showing up, and we can make some lifestyle changes, but it's all a tool of procrastination. And it is time for you to move the needle, my friend. Are you ready? Let's dive in. I have to lose 10 pounds. I don't have the right lighting. I don't feel put together today. They all sound like legitimate reasons to not show up on camera, but they're distractions. And you know what? Your girl here behind the microphone has said a few of those herself. There were days, and there still are days, where I think, I cannot show up looking like this. Now, fortunately, I know how to get myself camera ready in 5 minutes, where I can show up looking polished and put together because I already have the studio set up. I know the quick fixes that for makeup and hair that can look polished and put together in 5 minutes, but I still do it too. I still can talk myself out of showing up. The truth is we don't want to show up every day, even when we are camera ready. But if you have been procrastinating and putting it off and keep saying, yeah, I'm not putting money into the photo shoot. I don't look how I want to look yet. My friend, maybe you don't need to pay a brand photographer, but you should be taking some selfies at least and get yourself out there, current you, not the 30 years ago profile picture that you're using on LinkedIn to hold your spot on the profile picture. It needs to be current and it needs to not be AI. Please, please, please. Let me say this. I really do love AI for what it can do as a tool to help us in business. And it can be fun when it does, maybe what you would look like in, from child to aging years, 70 and older, but not for real. Don't use it for your real brand photos. I know people are doing it and I know people are out there teaching it, but there is something missing in those photos, and that is the soul behind the eyes. The eyes are empty, and you know it when you see it. When you look at it, you can almost immediately sense it looks good, like it looks like a real person, but there's something empty, missing. There's no soul. There's no real human behind there. So don't do that. We want to see you, my friend. We want to see the you right now. And if you do need to get your hair done and lose 10 pounds or whatever, you know what? You can do that in 4 weeks if you really wanted to. So all of these are just distractions for procrastination. And when you use lighting or like, I don't have the right camera, those aren't tech issues. They're self-permission issues. It's not hard to find how to set up your lighting. I have free episodes and on YouTube, on audio only, and all over my social media about how to get good lighting and use camera angles so that you look amazing. So you're not giving yourself the time to find the material, or you're not reaching out to someone like me who can help you set up your studio lickety split so you can't use that excuse anymore. It's really an excuse. And why do we feel like we need to procrastinate these things? What is it? I was using weight as an issue. And I've talked about this at length on this show. I had body dysmorphia. I had perfectionism, people pleasing, all of the things that would hold me back. I was the girl in the back row in group photos, like popping my head out around, with a big smile, but that was because I was hiding my body. I wasn't proud of it. I didn't like my aging face. I was just hiding in plain sight. Nobody knew. In real world, they would have never guessed that my issue was that I didn't like my body. They would have never known because I walked confident. I acted confident. I was a business owner. I was seeing patients in private practice. They would have never guessed. That was my dirty little secret when I laid my head down on the pillow at night. What's yours? What is the dirty little secret that's keeping you from showing up on camera? I'll bet it's not that you don't have good lighting. Because as well as I do, you can get that taken care of in 30 minutes or less. Amazon can have it delivered to you on the same day. You just go on there and deliver it, or you learn how to use a window. There are deeper issues of what's actually going on. One of them is fear of judgment. What will people think? I run into this with my clients when especially they're white collar professionals. So physicians, attorneys, anybody like that. They have a lot of education and a lot of letters behind their name, and they want to get out online. They want to get out on stages and public speak. They have a message inside of them or a program that they've developed where they want to help people get from point A to B. But their colleagues are still in their practices, still in their businesses, doing it in the brick and mortar way, doing it in the Chamber of Commerce networking way, which is amazing. I'm all for it. I love local business. I love it. But when you shift to showing yourself online and being more visible, there is a lot of fear around what will my colleagues think? Am I cheapening my brand by showing up? Can you relate to that? Or your family. So I went through this a little bit. Family and colleagues were like, what are you doing? Are you trying to be an influencer now? Are you trying to be Instagram famous? No. It would be amazing if I was, because, it's easier. The more people you have that love your message, the easier it is to have more impact and more income. But no, that's not my goal. My goal is to get my message out there. And that whole resistance of, I just don't want to hear what people say about me being online. I don't want to, my boss at work to see me out there. God forbid. What will they say? That's a fear of judgment. Now, here's another one. This is mine, perfectionism. It's masked as procrastination. I've said this multiple times on this show. If you're new here, I'll just tell you. In 2020, when we were in quarantine and lockdown, that's when I jumped on TikTok. And it seemed like the whole world did. And it was amazing. TikTok is still amazing. It's still one of my favorite platforms. And it's something that in 2020, it's shifted now, but in 2020, it was a lot of dancing, fun. People were just bored out of their minds at home, and they were doing hilarious videos, but a lot of them had a point, right? So it was humor with a point behind it. And a lot of them were doing choreographed dance routines, and it was a trend, and I am a dancer. So I thought I could do this, and I would try to do a dancing trend and then have text overlay talking about, you want to feel confident on camera? Do you want to feel confident in your body? Blah, blah, blah. Something on there. I would put text overlay on top of me doing a dance routine or a trend. And I could not get some of these dang trends. I couldn't get it. It would be off just a little bit, or camera would catch me at an angle where I'm like, ooh, I can't let that be seen. And there was a night where I had my ring light set up in the entryway of my house, true story, because it was hardwood floor. The walls were all white behind me. It was simple. It wasn't messy. I was trying to be that girl. And my phone said, your camera roll you're out of storage. You can't save this video. I had done so many takes of the same 12-second video that I ran out of phone storage. And I sat on the steps in my entryway. It was like a split level house. And I sat there and thought, perfectionism much, Christine? I literally coached myself out of it. And it was a real wake up call for me realizing that I struggled with the same thing that a lot of my clients struggle with. At the time of that video, I was still in the health and wellness space. I was still coaching women in weight loss, healthy weight loss, modeling healthy fitness and a wellness journey so that they weren't stumbling blocks for their daughters, because I had gone through my whole body dysmorphia thing and my daughter had anorexia. It was a whole story. And it was after that I created a formula to get myself on camera quickly with confidence and polish that made me proud to show up. It was after realizing my phone saying, "Hey girl, you have saved too many videos, like just pick one already." So perfectionism's a big one. We just want it perfect. But right now, in summer of 2025, I can tell you that your viewers don't want you to be perfect. Maybe polished, but not perfect. They don't want that. AI can be perfect. And how are they going to know if you're real or an AI version? They can create AI videos to look so real, we don't know if it's you or not until we really look in the eyes and realize something was off, but at first glance. So don't get hung up on the perfectionism. Your message is what people want. Deep down, what's going on is you're afraid to be seen before you feel ready. I know, because that was me. And the camera isn't just a mirror. It reflects your energy, your emotion, your story, not just your appearance. And I had to learn that too. I'm just a few steps ahead of you. Well, several steps ahead of you, because in my beauty salon, I worked with literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women for thousands of hours, getting them camera ready for their special events, and worked alongside their photographers, coaching them how to relax when the photographers came into my salon for weddings and photos for like book jacket photo shoots, things like that, for authors. I watched the women, kind of fumble around and not know how to engage with the camera lens. And I kind of became the assistant to the photographer in my business, learning how to help these women who we already got beautiful, get them relaxed in front of the camera. And it's interesting because a lot of them were not in their 40s, 50s, and beyond. A lot of them were in their 20s and 30s. And still, when a camera was in front of them, like a professional camera lens, not a selfie, a camera lens, they would act so odd. Like, I know you made me look pretty. I know my hair is perfect and my makeup never looks this good, but I still don't know what to do. And it's because the camera picks up that energy. We feel weird when we look at ourselves after the photo is taken. We feel like, I don't like it. Well, that is because the camera is a mirror. It's not just picking up what you look like. It's picking up your emotions. It's picking up that insecurity. And I'm going to challenge you on some of these mindsets that these are all forms of procrastination keeping you stuck. You know, because you're already educated and accomplished, that mindset is a huge piece to everything we do, especially the hard things. And being on camera is no different. So here's the spoiler. You don't need to be 100% ready. Guess what? You're not going to be confident. It's not a prerequisite. It's a result of you showing up. So I want to challenge you to build your presence now before it feels safe. Get yourself out there now before it feels polished. Build it by showing up now, a little messy. I'm not saying hot mess, fumbling, not like just standing there, not doing. I will never tell you to do like work that is embarrassing. Try your best. Isn't that all we can ever do, is our very best? Get out there. I don't like the do it messy message, like do it messy until you get it right. I like let yourself do C+ work until it becomes A+. Messy to me means like D+ and all the way down to an F, right? Like messy is, I'll give you an example. I went on someone's Instagram live, and this was when they were teaching you how to use TikTok, but they came on Instagram to train you on how to use TikTok. And it was a disaster. Like, watching her was frustrating me because she had all kinds of issues going on where she got up and walked away from the camera. Her cat was doing something in the background that distracted her. And then she would say, "Oh, I can't find my notes. Wait." And then she would stare at her computer trying to find the notes of what she was going to say. And it felt like it was wasting my time. That to me is messy. I wasn't there like judging her appearance. If she had just rolled out of bed, and looked like she just rolled out of bed, maybe I would have. But she put her best foot forward. She was put together. She wasn't, a fashionista, but she looked good. Like, she looked like, I just want to hear, how do you grow on TikTok? And here she is, like, dropping things, shooshing her cat away, getting up from her out of the camera shot to move the cat. It was messy. That woman is in a mid-six-figure and higher business now, today. She showed up like that and pushed and barreled through, and she still built a business. But to me, I'm never going to tell you to do that. I understand that you don't have time to sit through somebody's mess until they figure things out, and you don't want to do that to someone else. That's a legitimate reason to wait until you feel a little bit more polished, okay? So don't waste people's time. So do C+ work. And I'll give you an example of C+ work. My very first Instagram Live was in 2021. And I knew I had to go on Instagram Live at the time in 2021. That's how you grew your platform on Instagram. Actually, it still works, but it's not the same as it was back then. You had to go live 3 to 5 days a week and you would attract followers. Anyway, I knew, and I was challenged by a business coach to do it, didn't know how to do it. And I literally didn't know how, because I came out of not being the face of my brand. My business and the work of my business was showcased for my brand. So now all of a sudden, here I am trying to be white collar professional, shifting into online space. How the heck do you go live? Like, literally, where are the buttons you push? That was where I was. And I spoke for 3 minutes, too fast. You could see me fumbling with my phone, but I was not going to waste anybody's time. And I think that's why I spoke too fast, besides nerves, right? When we're nervous, we tend to speak quickly. And I did. I really sound like I had 3 Red Bulls, right? I just went, who I am, who I serve, how to, reach out to me in my DMs if this resonated with you. It was kind of a very weak call to action. And then at the end, I'm like, how do you end this? I couldn't find the way to end the live stream. It was not an A+ live stream. Let me just tell you, not great. But within 24 hours, someone reached out to me in the DMs, a cold lead, someone who I did not know, and said, "I watched your video from yesterday. I'm going through exactly what you described. I need help. How can I talk to you?" Oh my goodness. Here's my calendar. Book a call. Let's get on a free call. But within 24 hours, Stripe sent me the notification for $2,000 because she hired me for a private coaching program. That was C+ work. So a 3-minute video, I looked pretty put together. I wasn't a glam girl, but I was polished and put together. I didn't have, great lighting. It was okay. Actually, it's still on my Instagram grid, but you'd have to go deep because I have over 1,000 videos in there. But I left it up to remind myself that that's how I got started in helping women be coached in camera confidence. And because it's a true story, it's something that happened from not being a hot mess, not doing it messy, but yes, doing it scared. Yes, doing it at C+ work. And now I can go live very relaxed. I can speak the way I'm speaking now. I don't feel the butterflies or the angst. I feel like I could talk to anybody right now on a live stream and not have like that angsty feeling that you may get when you think, oh my gosh, live, there's no rehearsals. Are you kidding? It's like real and raw. And what if I forget what I was going to say? All those things, right? Well, I've done it so many times that now I have the confidence muscle where I can just draw from everything. I feel very, prepared. And that doesn't happen when we sit behind our fears, our perfectionism, our belief that we have to be flawless before we're visible. We have to be ready. Yes, you have to be prepared, but let's talk about readiness. You don't build your presence by hiding until it feels safe. You build it by showing up now. You cannot get ready enough if you're still behind with the camera off. You're still behind the scenes. There is nothing that's going to prepare you except for taking the leap. That's it. It is such a mindset game of just jumping in and doing it. Now, there are some practical things. What are you going to talk about? So let's just say you're not going to go live. You're going to start with a little 10 or 15 second video, because short form video right now is the hot ticket. So what can you possibly say in 10 to 15 seconds? Well, the first thing you do is you don't say, hey guys, or hi, or I'm just jumping on. You don't have time for that. There's no time for that. You start with a tip or a myth buster or something like that that grabs their attention quick. We call that a hook. And you can do a talking video direct to camera, or you can record yourself sitting at your desk, writing in a calendar or a journal, and put some text overlay on top of it. You don't have to talk direct to camera the first time. You just need to get out there. I had a client who came to me a couple years ago, and she was doing selling products online. And actually, I had a flurry of those because during the pandemic, that kind of exploded, right? MLM style, but not necessarily MLM, I guess. I don't know. But that was their thing. They were trying to sell products online, and it was not TikTok Shop. It was on like Facebook and Instagram. And she was really confident pointing the camera at the product. But people kept saying, I want to see your face and hear your voice. And she came to me and said, I don't like my voice and my face. Like, what? I'm just selling a thing. Why do they want to see me? And I said, because people want to buy from people they know, like, and trust. That's why. You're not Target. You're not Nordstrom. You're not Macy's. You're not Walgreens, right? You're a person they're buying from. They're not walking into a store they already know. So how are we going to get you on here talking? And I rolled through a bunch of different questions with her to pull out information. And we came up with a short little, if for lack of better words, elevator pitch. It went bananas. She recorded it. She said, I sell blah, blah, blah for the women who want this result. My name is blah, blah, blah. And if you're interested in getting this result, send me a DM. I would love to chat. That was it. It was very generic. It was 10 to 15 seconds, and everybody loved it. And before she put it out in her main feed, she put it in her stories because they expire within 24 hours. So that's a good place to start. Anyway, her business boomed because people were like, you're so cute. I love your accent. And she came back to me and said, I can't believe they love my accent. I've always had, I call it head trash. She didn't use that word. She said, I've always had bad thoughts about how I sound because my accent sounds uneducated. And I said, who told you that? And it was made fun of in movies and TV shows. She had a big, thick Southern drawl, and people loved it. It's her thing. So for you, what are you going to say in a short video to get yourself out there? Could it just be your version of an elevator pitch? Just practice it and throw it up in your stories? What's the worst that could happen? I mean, really, what is the worst? Here's the truth. You're not too old. You're not too late. You're not too anything. You already have the substance. You have the experience. You have the expertise to do whatever it is you're trying to do. You just need to let us see you. So start now, as you are. Show up, not because you're perfect, not because you're flawless, but because your message matters. You deserve to be seen, and your message deserves to be heard. So I'm going to challenge you to not overthink it. Just get that camera up and talk. Watch it back without criticism. Just look for your presence. Did you look in the camera lens? That's a biggie. Make sure you're looking in that camera lens, and then just put it to your stories and try it. If how you look and lighting and all of that holds you up, I made a free guide that can help you get started. I want you to get started. And I created this with the woman in mind who knows nothing about being on camera, and she has a little bit of everything going on in her head. I don't like how I look. I don't like how I sound. I don't know how to do the lighting. I don't know how to do any of this stuff. And all these people that are already out there look so good compared to me. So this guide is called the Confident and Camera Ready Guide. It's really good because it gets you started in five different areas so that you feel like you can set up a little studio, or your car could be your studio. It just gives you a leg up, and it's free. I put the link to download it in the show notes. And now you're able to message me from my show notes. There's a little link. If you don't want to find me on Instagram or any of my social media, you can message me right from the podcast show notes. If you do this, I would love to hear from you. And if you download this free guide, send me an email. I love to help you jump off and leap into this before you feel ready. Because, my friend, it is going to be the beginning of you building your camera confidence muscle. Okay, that is it for this episode. I hope it was helpful. If it was, would you leave me a review? It helps so much when you just hit the stars and leave a review, because that tells other people it's content that's not just someone's opinion, it's actually helping. And in these self-improvement podcasts, that's a big deal. Okay, until next time, keep showing up, keep standing out, and keep shining. I'll be back soon.